Don't you dare tell me for 1 second the government give a shit about these fuel prices. They love it, bro. We're taxed 40% still right now. And there's all these fuel prices, everyone's struggling, everything being so inflated. I know so many people struggling. They don't give a shit.
Well, are you one of the many millions of Australians that are struggling out there, finding it hard to pay your bills, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, put food on the table?
The highest electricity bill I've ever had, ever, in the history of living in this house.
The world was a much better place one generation ago.
An item a couple of years ago might have cost us $5 is now, say, $10 or $15. The normal $5 that was around a couple of years ago is now an average of $15.
Australia, the lucky country. White sand beaches, gorgeous weather, good vibes, and a minimum wage that is among the highest on the entire planet. Sounds like paradise, right? Sounds like the kind of place where life is just easy and beautiful and everyone is doing just fine. So then why are Aussies crying in supermarket aisles? Why are families choosing between paying rent and buying food? Why are people going without medication so their kids can eat? Why are young Australians packing their bags and leaving the country they were born in, not for adventure, but because they simply cannot afford to stay? Yeah. The lucky country does not feel very lucky right now. And today, we're going to talk about why. This is not a political rant. This is not someone who hates Australia. This is a real, honest, uncomfortable conversation about what is actually happening to everyday Australians right now. The kind of conversation politicians avoid and media sugarcoats. And by the end of this video, I guarantee you will be looking at your grocery receipt, your rent, and your bank account in a completely different way. Stay until the very end, because every single section of this video is going to hit harder than the one before it. And if this sounds like your life, share this with someone you know, because the more we talk about it, the harder it gets to ignore. And if you are new here, hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications. We keep it real on this channel, always. Let us get into it.
Okay, guys, so we're back here again. Obviously, I've had a great sleep last night. My kids slept a bit. But okay, we need to get over the Centrelink part. We need to get over the battery part. It's more the cost of living. The fact that an item a couple of years ago might have cost us $5 is now, say, $10 or $15. The normal $5 that was around a couple of years ago is now an average of $15. Like, I don't know if anyone else is suffering with that. It's more the afterpay, the butterfly effect, everything. Like, I know for a fact, despite Centrelink, despite anything, that people are struggling, and people are struggling to afford rent and food and this and that, anything what it was. And you guys are just all strung up about this or that and the other. It's not that. It's about how everyone's surviving and how people are affording groceries. They're like luxury items now. Some people get my point, some people completely miss it. So yeah, I don't know.
Don't you dare tell me for 1 second the government give a shit about these fuel prices. They love it, bro. We're taxed 40% still right now. And there's all these fuel prices, everyone's struggling, everything being so inflated. I know so many people struggling. They don't give a shit. Don't you dare come in my comments, there's reasons behind it. Shut up. They don't care, and I swear they want this. It's so obvious. It's so 40% now. If we're that much struggling and they want to care about us and help us and all this shit, bro, shut up. 40%. Fathom that idea. Single mums are struggling. Fathers, everyone's struggling. Households with double incomes are struggling. And you're telling me the government cares? Don't stop at least minimum half that tax price. At least minimum. If not anything, they don't give a shit, bro. They never did, bro. They feed us like peasants. Here's enough healthcare. Here's enough roads. Here's enough, just enough to keep us ticking, cuz. Bro, it's getting worse and worse by you. I bet your kids, not one of them will end up buying a house because of these prices. Apartment, shitty 2-bedroom apartment, nearly $1 million, cuz. What a joke, bro. Cuz they don't care and stop defending them. You know it's a fucking scam.
Are you fucking serious? I just went to a cafe this morning in Melbourne, Australia, and I paid $45 for 2 eggs on toast and avocado on the side. And earlier this year, I was in Bali, and it was like $10 to $15 for the same thing. Like, how are you even meant to live right now with the rising cost of living and inflation in Australia and work a normal job where you're earning $40,000 to $100,000 a year? Like, money just isn't the same anymore. $40,000 to $100,000 a year on a salary or working on an hourly rate. It just isn't the same as what it was 5 years ago. The inflation is crazy right now and things are just way more expensive than what they should be. It's just like ridiculous. I know there's so many people living paycheck to paycheck. They got smashed by the pandemic. So many people unemployed because they didn't want to take the jab. And just people that are barely have any money right now, more than whatever I've seen before. It's just ridiculous. Things shouldn't cost this much money.
Well, are you one of the many millions of Australians that are struggling out there, finding it hard to pay your bills, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, put food on the table? It's understandable. Inflation now is holding at 3.8%. Jim Chalmers said it will start coming down. That's not the case. Inflation is connected to overspend by the governments. And this government, since 2007, has increased their spending by 32%. Your taxes have gone up since then 16%. That's 1% every year. So more money's going into the government coffers, but they're spending twice as much in income tax than what they're getting. It can't keep going the way that it is. We used to be debt-free in this nation in 2007, and that's when Labor took over and then followed by the Coalition. So now, every Australian out there, man, woman, child and baby, is owing about $20,000. This is a debt that we passed on to our future generations. One Nation wants to cut that debt. We can cut $90 billion a year from our budget. Cut back on the NDIS, which is at present about $53 billion a year, expected to be $100 billion by 2032, unsustainable. Then you've got the Aboriginal industry, $30 billion plus a year. Then you've climate change, another $30 billion a year. And then they want to increase the number of politicians. It's out of proportion, out of whack, and I don't agree with that. If you want real economic stability and to pay down our debt, the only ones to do it are One Nation.
Let us start with the most basic human need on the planet: food. You would think in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, with some of the most fertile land on Earth, feeding your family would not be a crisis. And yet, here we are. Food prices in Australia have been climbing steadily, and they are not slowing down. Beef and lamb are up over 13% in just the past year alone. Fruit and vegetable prices keep rising. Chocolate is up nearly 7%, which honestly feels personal. And overall, grocery inflation is sitting at over 3% annually, on top of years of increases that never fully went away. Now here is where it gets really good. Australia grows an enormous amount of its own food. This country exports beef, grain, seafood, dairy, and produce all over the world. And yet Australians are paying more for groceries than people in the United Kingdom, the United States, and Canada. Let that sink in for a second. You are living on a continent full of farms, and you are paying more for food than countries that import most of theirs. Brilliant system, truly. And the human cost of this is not small. According to recent data, 90% of people seeking financial assistance in 2026 reported struggling to afford essential living costs, including groceries. 20% of Australians reported living in darkness at night, using candles and torches just to cut down on electricity bills so they could afford to eat. And over 43% could not afford basic hygiene items like soap and toothpaste. This is not a developing nation. This is Australia in 2026. And the supermarket shelves are full. The food is right there. People just cannot afford to put it in their trolley. Oh, you wanted to rent a place to live? How adorable. How wonderfully optimistic of you. Let us talk about Australian housing, the gift that keeps on taking. Sydney's median house price in 2026 sits at approximately $1.75 million. That is 13.8 times the median household income. 13.8 times. To put that in perspective, that makes Sydney the second most unaffordable major housing market in the entire world. Second, only to Hong Kong. Congratulations, Sydney. You are beating out cities like London, New York, and Tokyo in the race to make ordinary people feel completely hopeless about ever owning a home. And renting is not the escape hatch people think it is, either. Rental vacancy rates are sitting at just 1.9% nationally, which means there is almost nothing available. And when something does come up, The competition is brutal and the prices are savage. Renters are commonly spending 30 to 40% or more of their entire income just on rent, just on keeping a roof over their heads. And over 42% of renters say they are struggling to pay rent right now in 2026. Here is the truly inspiring part. Only 2.7% of rental properties were affordable for a family of 4 where both parents were earning minimum wage. 2.7%. So if you are working minimum wage with children, the rental market essentially does not exist for you. But do not worry, the government is aware of the issue. They have meetings about it all the time, and for mortgage holders, the Reserve Bank raised interest rates, pushing the cash rate to 3.85% in 2026. So if you were already stretched, congratulations, you are now stretched further. The Australian dream of owning a home is not just delayed for young people. For many, it is completely, mathematically impossible.
I've been working 30 years in leadership positions. I have a master's degree, but the graduates in New South Wales, and my pay difference is $18,000. Like, school holidays come around, I lament them because my kids ask to do things and I have to tell them I can't afford things. There's no prospect of owning a home or even being able to save a deposit. So it's this weird thing where I think for myself, it's one thing, teaching's a great job, it really is, and it's really great when you've got kids. But I think about future teachers and alarming statistics that, most people leave the profession within the first 5 years. Just a crazy situation. And then the insult comes from premiers giving themselves massive pay hikes and just a value thing. Like I said, so whether education state, but the real weird thing is the disempowerment, and every agreement we get under CPI. It's a pay cut, and we've been going backwards forever. So we have class splits every day, there's a teacher shortage, there's CRTs, there's none. We have emergency teachers who are so familiar, we feel like they're part of our staff now because they're just always there. But it's such a hard thing to run a school these days.
Sydney, Australia literally just became the least affordable city in the world. Are we being so for real right now? This literally means you just can't buy shit. Imagine not being able to afford shit. Real talk. This is Sydney, Australia. It's the worst type of living. And on top of that too, the internet is shit too. So why do we have shit internet and it's so expensive to live here? Are we going to lift this weight off our shoulders or something? What's going on? And let's not even start talking about houses, because bruh, why is it that you could live so far away from the city, away from all public transports like trains and buses, and your house is still $1 million and up? What are we talking about, Sydney? Yo, this place is unlivable. I remember I pulled up to a smoke shop in Manly, and these folks were selling aloe veras for $2.50. The 250 milliliters, just drink. That little drink right here. They're selling that for $2.50. I haven't seen them motherfuckers for $2.50 in my entire life. Yo, they're usually $4.50. What the fuck? Yo, somebody sign me up for another city, bro. Because what the fuck do you mean it's just expensive as fuck to live here, bro? You can't be serious, bro. Come on now.
Okay, so let's talk about financial hardship in Australia. If you're in WA, please, before the financial year, look at a thing called the HUGS grant. It is from your utility company. You can place it for things like Synergy and Water Corp and the gas companies. Look it up. If you are in financial hardship, there are ways of getting help. With Synergy, it's up to about $600 the last time I worked with them. You do have to go through some processes to get it, but please, if you're in financial hardship and you need help with your bills, there are help out there. But please look at the HUGS grant if you're in WA. And I'm sure that other states have other things as well that they're able to help with. And I fully suggest ringing up the financial counselling helpline. It's a free service. It's a 1-800 number. Call them. They're absolutely amazing and they'll be able to help as well. So yeah, just little tips where I was a financial case manager for a while in hardship. So I'll try and put out some videos, but this is every financial year. So get it in now before the end of the financial year. Then you'll be eligible again the following financial year. So yeah, just FYI.
School holidays have just started here in Victoria, and I've actually just done the mental math on what we can actually afford to do. And that would be fuck all. Have you actually seen what the price of a movie ticket is nowadays? Jesus Christ. Not to mention that I need to take out an additional loan to go to the local trampoline park. And honestly, I'm sitting here feeling a little bit guilty because the only thing I can possibly come up with that is cost effective is Disney Plus. But what got me thinking is no other mums are actually talking about this. We're all just quietly doing the maths and, trying to figure out how the fuck we're going to do shit. The cost of living has actually stolen awesome school holidays. Sitting here hoping to God that he doesn't ask to go bowling again.
What the fuck? One generation ago, you'd have a household, you'd have 3 kids at home, you'd have the mum staying at home looking after the kids, you'd have one income, providing a good 600 square metre block, household, clean food, clean everything. The world was a much better place one generation ago. What the fuck happened? Now you've got mum having to go to work, kid going to daycare, dad going to work, everyone's broke as fuck. People don't own their cars in their household. Everybody's renting. Everyone's got this cheap shit food that's being put on in front of you to eat. What happened? I know what happened. Leave a comment below and watch the next video as I tell you what I believe happened in the last generation.
The highest electricity bill I've ever had, ever, in the history of living in this house, like the 18 years that I've been here. This is the highest quarterly bill I've ever had. Now, I know a lot of people are going, hey, that's only a small bill, but let me show you something. This time last year, I used that much electricity, like this same time last year. This year, I've used this much electricity, so I've used less. I've used less electricity than I did at this same time last year, which they were kindly enough to tell me that was a 17% decrease in my usage. But my bill's gone up by $400. This same time last year, my electricity bill was $700. Now it's $1,102. That's some fucking inflationary shit, especially when you decreased your actual usage. Like, decreased usage, bill goes up by 40%. Is this what you're getting? Am I an anomaly, or is this what you're all getting as well? Like, because that's some fucking seriously screwed up economics.
Now here's the part that really messes with your head. Australia has one of the highest minimum wages in the world. As of 2026, the national minimum wage sits at nearly $25 an hour. That sounds amazing. That sounds like people should be doing fine. So what on earth is going wrong? The problem is simple. Costs have outrun wages so completely that the number on your paycheck means almost nothing anymore. Wages grew at around 3.4% recently, but inflation, housing costs, and everyday expenses grew faster. So in real terms, what your money actually buys, wages went backwards. You earned more dollars, you bought less stuff. Welcome to Australia in 2026. Let us run the actual numbers. A minimum wage worker taking home around $822 after tax per week, after rent, food, transport, and basic utilities, in most Australian cities, has nothing left, literally nothing. In many cases, the math comes out negative. You are working a full week and you cannot cover your basic costs. Not because you are being frivolous, not because you are buying luxuries, because the rent alone eats most of it before you even get to the supermarket. And families have it even worse. Cost of living research in 2026 found that for 2 minimum wage earners with 2 children, after covering rent, food, and transport, there is almost nothing remaining to cover energy bills. Almost nothing. These are 2 working adults, both employed, both showing up every week, and they are still one unexpected bill away from a crisis at all times. Meanwhile, 56% of Australians say they are more financially stressed right now than they were a year ago. Not the same. More. It is getting worse, not better. And the people feeling it hardest are the ones already at the bottom. Pensioners, single parents, people on government payments, whose living costs rose the fastest of any group in 2026. So what do we do with all of this? What does it mean when the lucky country starts feeling like a trap? Here is the uncomfortable truth. Australia is not broken in the way that gets dramatic headlines. There is no war, no famine, the shelves are stocked, the infrastructure mostly works. And that is exactly why this crisis is so dangerous, because it is quiet. It creeps. It grinds people down slowly, day by day, grocery shop by grocery shop, rent payment by rent payment, until one day people realise they have nothing left and nobody noticed. Over 3.3 million Australians are currently living in poverty in 2026. That is more than 1 in 8 people. In Australia, the country that exports food to the world, the country with one of the highest minimum wages on earth, the country that consistently ranks near the top of global quality of life indexes, while a food charity founder stands up and calls the hunger crisis a national emergency hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves out there. It is tough right now, but you are not imagining it.